Welcome to the U.S. Military Base YouTube channel. Let's start with the latest news of the military agenda. The Ukrainian General Staff reported that the Ukrainian rocket forces and artillery units managed to destroy 2 Russian air defense systems and 2 key enemy targets. Helicopters and warplanes, operating simultaneously with Ukrainian artillery units, carried out more than 30 missile attacks on 11 regions where Russian military personnel and equipment were concentrated. Official reports indicate that the Ukrainian Air Force managed to destroy 3 Russian rocket launchers and 1 air defense system in these attacks. In response to these attacks of the Ukrainian forces, the Russian forces carried out offensive operations on 3 different fronts in eastern Ukraine. Ukrainian forces succeeded in repelling 54 attacks by Russian forces on the Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Marinka fronts and neutralizing 500 Russian soldiers. When we look at the general situation on the Bakhmut front, where the most violent clashes took place, we see that the Russian army managed to take control of several different points of the city. Ukrainian forces continue to control the main supply lines, the H-32 and 0506 highways, while Russian forces hold a large part of the city. However, the videos shared a few minutes ago show that the Ukrainian commanders sent their most powerful weapons to this region to stop the advance of the Russian troops. In this context, the video recorded by a Ukrainian drone shows the attacks of the MiG-29 warplanes of the Ukrainian army against the Bakhmut front. In the videos, it is seen that 2 MiG-29 warplanes belonging to the Ukrainian army attacked the Russian deployment points in Bakhmut using 4 JDAM missiles. When we look at the damage done by the missiles in the region, it is possible to say that all enemy targets within a radius of 500 meters were destroyed. It was reported that 16 Russian war vehicles and 2 tanks were destroyed in this attack by Ukrainian warplanes. In addition, news sources reported simultaneous eruptions at Melitopol in Zaporizhia Oblast and Novokakhovka in Kherson Oblast. Smoke rising from the airbase in the Melitopol region is seen in the images shared by local sources. Sources say there was a violent explosion at the airbase during the dark hours, which was caused by a missile attack. In addition, sources sharing information about the incident in the Novokakhovka region reported that the Ukrainian forces destroyed one of the last 5 ammunition depots of the Russian army in the region. Indicating that the Russian forces have recently withdrawn their military personnel and equipment from the regions along the Dnipro River to safer areas, sources report that there are still a small number of Russian military personnel in these regions. In addition, a few minutes after these events, explosion sounds came from the depths of Russian territory. In this context, several explosions occurred in the Petersburg region of Russia a few hours ago. Russian officials in the region declined to comment on the situation. However, local sources report that the explosion sounds came from the vicinity of the 20th Aviation Repair Factory, which includes the warplanes of the Russian Air Force. We had previously witnessed that the airspace above the city was closed for a few hours due to an unknown object in the sky. On the other hand, facing an American 4th-generation F-16 fighter jet against Russian Sukhoi and Mikoyan warplanes will be a tough challenge for the Russian aerospace forces. According to Russian military expert Reserve Captain Vasily Dandaikin, the F-16 will be tough against the Russian Su-35 or MiG-31. Dandaikin made this statement in early February of this year. Dandaikin did not change his mind today. According to the expert's assessment, a Western fighter jet, with its avionics, lightweight and weapons, in which the F-16 is undisputed, could be a deterrent to reduce Russia's dominance in the air. The Russians are aware of this, says Dandaikin. The Russian expert says that the Su-35 and MiG-31, the most used duo in warfare, are warplanes prepared and equipped to defeat Western-class warplanes. But F-16s are not Ukraine's aging Soviet warplanes or depreciated Polish and Slovak MiG-29s. The challenge here is great and a tough battle is expected if, for example, the F-16 encounters the Su-35. How effectively American warplanes will use Ukrainian airbases is another question. In the last 24 hours, it has been heavily commented that the F-16 needs clean and long runways. Justin Bronk commented that the huge air intakes under the nose of the F-16 will suck the dirt from the tracks, which will damage the engines. Perhaps because of such comments, Ukraine decided to respond by defending the idea of buying the F-16. Ukrainian Air Force spokesman Yuri Ignat said that Ukraine has runways suitable for the use of F-16s. Ignat said, "There is no problem with the infrastructure. American aircraft, including F-15s and F-16s, have already landed here. These planes were at our airports in 2012 and 2018. We have dozens of different scheduled airports that can be used for this type of aircraft." Despite Ignat's statement, opinions in this direction are in favor of Bronk. A former F-16 pilot of the U.S. Air Force expressed a similar opinion. Lieutenant Colonel Jahar Amadazek said, Scattered F-16 operations are becoming a subject of contention because the air intake is too low to the ground and vulnerable to sucking up engine-damaging pebbles and other debris. However, the issue of sending the F-16 continues. Even ignoring how the plane will take off from the Ukrainian runways, we return to the event if the F-16 opposes the Russian Sukhoi and Mikoyan. Despite Dan Dykin's view that the Russian Su-35 and MiG-31 are poised for such an encounter, Dan Hampton, a retired U.S. Air Force lieutenant colonel, former F-16 pilot, does not. Hampton believes the Su-35 is flying a 30-year-old radar. In expert opinion, the F-16 is very successful out of sight in air combat, precisely because of its newer radar compared to the Russian one. The American ace points out that the F-16's radar can track multiple targets. In the coming days, we will follow all the military and political developments in the world, especially the Russia-Ukraine war, for you. To be informed of developments faster, you can subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Also, if you like our video and leave a comment, you will make us feel your support. For now, I wish everyone a good day. See you soon.